Hello, what have we here?
You're wrong.
Damn! What the hell was that?
Game over, man. Game over.
You're wrong.
You finished?
Well, I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Greetings, boys and girls, lemurs and squirrels, and welcome to the Week in Geek, a wholly owned subsidiary of Free Range Idiocy, wherein we present our midweek dose of geekery for you, the people. Sit back and relax as we scrape the best news we found off the bottom of the interweb shoe and let you know exactly how we feel about it. I am your Uncle Todd, and with me, as always, on this Week in Geek Wednesday is the lead editor-in-chief bottle washer of the Week in Geek. I give you the man they call Tim.
You forgot one other title in that introduction. Okay. Slayer of Praying Manti.
I'm telling you, you don't get credit for the kill. You just get an assist.
Greetings and
alley-oop.
salutations.
It was an alley-oop to that bird.
Greetings and salutations, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I haven't killed any, fairly large, intimidating-looking insects today that I know of, so I'm doing well.
The story here, ladies and gentlemen, is this morning I saw a rather
Timmy got to
sizable-
participate and watch the food chain in action.
I saw the circle of life. Or I guess if I walk-inize it, the circle of life.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I want to. That's the Lion King live action remake that I want, with Christopher Walken doing all the voices. That would be awesome.
Gosh. Hakuna Matata.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful. I don't know the lyrics, but anyways. So praying mantis on the hood of my truck. I was trying to do the right thing, have it go on a branch, and I would, go put it over onto the grass and let it, carry on its merry way. Instead, I flummoxed it and caused it to fly away, a la the Dune orthocopters, and we, just flying away. Flies to this area to the back of our parking lot where there's grass, where apparently there was a family of birds that were rather rambunctious, and one of those birds landed right next to it, nipped at it once. I saw the praying mantis try to take off again and then kind of come down, and the bird went whoink, and I saw it between its beak, and off the bird went, and I just was like, if I just left the guy alone, he probably would have been alive right now. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, brand loyal, if nothing else.
Yes, you're
something
on
right
brand
out of The
for
Simpsons.
Sure.
You try to do a good deed, and Mother Nature just slaps you in the face.
And like I said, you don't get credit for the kill. That was your alley-oop.
That was
to that Robin. Just
that
here you
was.
go.
Yep. There's your
Wow.
breakfast. There's your breakfast on a Sunday morning.
Well, we are going to bring back a little section here. I'm going to have my little bit of business here at the beginning of the Week in Geek, as we are going to greet the people who are around the world listening to the Idiocy. Greetings from wherever you are. Of course, the top downloads for us is normally the United States, just because we're speaking English and talking about U.S. pop culture for the most part. So,
should I grab the world title since we're talking about the world, or no?
You do whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Whatever's going to make you feel good. You're turning to the wrong side there, so you got to.
No, the WWE belt's right.
I thought you were going to talk about the world's heavyweight champion.
Well, it doesn't have a globe on it.
Anyways,
this one has a globe.
Gosh, it also has an eagle that has wings.
It's a winged eagle belt.
Yeah. So after that, rounding out our top, the top five out of after the United States, once again holding down the second spot. Good day to Australia. Cheerio to the UK. Hello to Singapore, which I found is funny that hello is also how you say hello, and I think it's Malay, which is the national language of Singapore. Guten Abend to Germany, and Young to South Korea.
Ooh, did our K-pop episode pull a little interest from that area?
Probably one lonely shut-in, but I forget how many we had, but that was number 6, so it rounds out our top 5 outside the U.S.
All right.
So there you are. Thank you to all of our international viewers and listeners.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, our theme for this episode of the Week in Geek is what's up with that? Because there's some happenings, some doings going on. But first, And I think this theme very much applies to both of us this week. In week 2 of the fantasy gridiron.
God, are we going to do... Oh.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are going to take stock. Do you have the football music queued up?
I'll do it afterwards. If I'd known we were going to talk about this, I would have been drinking hard liquor.
Well, So I think last week for week 1, I think you went first. I'm happy to go first if you would like.
Yeah, go right ahead.
All right, so in my Week 2 matchup, I am taking on Service's team. My team, Best in the World, was originally projected at a 193 to 185 win. That doesn't seem like that's happening. I unfortunately had a quarterback go down with, of all injuries, a toe injury. So Joe Burrow apparently left the game because his toe done hurt. So.
He's got an ingrown nail. You don't know how painful that is.
Actually, I do. So,
kind of sucks.
I mean, not anymore, but there was a time, and oh my, it was. But unfortunately, Joe Burrow left after the first half of the game, so he did not come back and play, and I was basically playing from behind at that point because he had only garnered 14 fantasy points at that point. My quarterback on the bench, Jared Goff, happened to have a 5-pass touchdown day, garnering 57 points overall. I believe Mr. Goff is going to get the nod for next week because this is now 2 weeks in a row I've been posed by Mr. Burrow, who, by the way, was not like this last year. Uncle Todd seemed to think that Joe Burrow was a big, why are you going for this and all that. No, he was solid last year. There was no reason to think otherwise. Other than apparently he's his toe hurts.
He plays for the Bengals, and the Bengals have no offensive line.
Well, I don't know. He did great last year for me. He was putting up buco points.
Well,
he had like a couple 70-point weeks for me, so you can't sneeze at that. You can't.
I mean, you could. It's not advisable,
but you shouldn't. My wide receivers, however, were showing up solid. T. Higgins with 14 fantasy points, Devontae Adams with 22, and Jameson Williams had 13 points. I was looking at the projected points. T. Higgins had 14, Devontae Adams had 22, Jameson Williams had 18. My running back situation, Derrick Henry, once again, my virtual lock for generating points for my team, 13 fantasy points. He was shut down. So now I am basically relying on his page would load. Marion Hampton from the Los Angeles Chargers is going to come and save the day. So,
okay.
Stephon Diggs, I decided to take a chance with him. 7 points against a paltry Miami defense. So his first 2 weeks are not looking good. And Baltimore, my defense put up 25 fantasy points. So
that's pretty good.
It's pretty solid. So going into tomorrow night, I have Hampton, and Cameron, the kicker Dicker, is going to be my saving graces. They're going to put up over 100 points between the two of them. That's what I'm hanging my hat on.
Dicker is going to kick the first 80-yard field goal in NFL history.
Plus 20. But right now the projected matchup is going to be Services team 215, me 148. But yeah, definitely some personnel changes are in order. I'm not nervous. It's early in the season. We're having a bit of a bumpy start, but we will recover because I am, if nothing else, the real fantasy world champion right here. All right, sir. How about your matchup? What's going on over on is the Doomed going to pull up from the tailspin that it's in right now?
Hell no. I'm projected to lose. I'm the 7th in our league, and I'm losing to the 8th ranked team in our league. So I am in my own personal circle of hell.
What was the original projection, though? Can you
197 to 160. Once again, the fantasy gods looking down and going, you know what? F this guy in particular. Whatever. That's why I named the team the Doomed, because it's just I'm being
Somebody
smoted.
needs smoting.
Yep. And yeah, it's the story of my wide receivers, all except for Debo, just shatting the bed. And a not as stellar as a prognosticated performance by Kay Williams from the
LA Raiders.
No, Los Angeles Rams. Kyron.
Oh, is it the Rams?
I can never
Kyron.
remember this dude's first name. If I had, and you know, Lamar Jackson, a respectable 47. However, I do have Drake May sitting on my bench, and he put up 55 points. That would have been nice, as would have, you know, Booty from New England's. Even though it's a paltry 8 points, it would have been much better than the 4 that Marvin Harrison Jr. got me, or that Golden from Green Bay got me a 3. My kicker actually got me 9 points, which was kind of a nice surprise, but it's not helping me because right now I am losing 162 to 164. They have 1 player remaining. I have 0 players remaining. So, yeah, this one's just all done but for the screaming, and, yeah, once again, God hates me. So,
I like how they leave you with a 4% chance to win just in the event that the defense goes into the negative.
yeah, because that's likely. But anyway.
It could happen. It could happen. So after week 2, both Uncle Todd and the man they call Tim are going to be staring at an 0-2 start. I'm not bothered by it. I'm happy to have the company of you, sir, down in the basement, and just be prepared to see the resurgent, real world champion come back and once again take the lead by storm.
Well, and one question I would like to ask you.
Yes.
If I had a trench coat, it'd be much better because I could be like this and be like, hey, can I interest you in a Geno Smith?
No. Not interested.
You
Not
just wait until Jared Goff goes off his nut, and then you're sitting there with nothing.
Yeah, well, then we might have to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that is Tales from the Fantasy Gridiron week number 2. Both of us in a tailspin, and we will see if we can pull up from that next week.
And not even a good tailspin like the animated cartoon from the 90s.
Yeah.
Not even that.
No.
Oh.
Actually, it's kind of like that praying mantis when he went crash into the ground and the bird snapped him.
That actually feels like my fantasy team so far.
Yeah. All right. Our next Week in Geek item, this was from Friday, and it was I watched it yesterday morning. We're recording on a Sunday evening, so this would be Saturday morning when I witnessed this. But it was the back and forth between one R-Truth, Ron Killings, a.k.a. Ron Cena, who all of us, there it is, dun, 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 dun. Who,
by the way, the one thing I'm very disappointed about with this shirt, and I should have thought about it looking at the design,
yes,
there is so much ink screen printed onto the front and the back because the back is the door. You won't see me, whatever.
Yeah,
it is. This shirt is unreasonably hot.
Oh.
There is no breathing going on in the front or the back. So
Okay.
like all day, I've had like a sweat spot in both areas, and it has not been pleasant. I can't wait to take this shirt off.
So you're sweating a little bit, huh?
I am. I might pull a Burt Kreischer and just go like topless through the second half of this podcast, which nobody needs.
Oh boy,
Nobody needs.
We're going to a place we never thought we'd have to go to before. Hey.
That we don't want to go to. Anyways, sorry. Go ahead.
All right. So let's see. What were we doing? So Ron Cena. So this was Brock Lesnar's segment. He came out to call out John Cena. R-Truth comes out and is wrapping up a storm with the crowd, getting them to do the "What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?" Doing all that. And so he comes in and he is there to defend his older brother John Cena from the ne'er-do-well that is Brock Lesnar. Brock, as this promo moves forward, is flummoxed by why Ron Killings is out there to begin with, and starts out like, "Who are you?" as opposed to, "Hey, aren't you?"
Yeah.
So, yeah. So he and Brock have a little bit of back and forth, but really, where this is a "What's up with that" was at the end of the segment. It all led up to Brock, F5ing Ron Killings for his troubles.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process, he blows the rear end portion of his jeans out. So
Yes,
when he stands up,
the right cheecular region.
yes. And Lesnar starts jaw-jacking with the crowd like, "Oh my gosh, I ripped my jeans. I blew the ass out." was just like, oh my gosh. So he goes over. So he's talking to the fans as this is going on. The fans are kind of cheering about the whole thing. He goes over to the side of the ring that the announcers are on and proceeds to stick his rear end region between the top two ropes out at the announcers, pointing out the fact that he ripped his jeans. Okay, Brock, we get it. You ripped your jeans. Then he proceeds to move to where his hat is, puts on his cowboy hat, and starts doing a little bit of a booty jiggle in the middle of the ring, followed up by a little, I wouldn't call it a James Brown two-step. It was more of a cowboy two-step of sorts. And then proceeds to leave the ring with the crowd cheering him, slapping hands with the fans as he leaves. Folks, Brock is supposed to be the heel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am left sitting there confused as a baby raccoon and asking the question, what's up with that? Sir, do you have any thoughts on this turn of events? It's like poor Ron Killing showed up and all hell broke loose.
I have been lax in my watching of wrestling for the past, month and a half, just for various reasons. Just stuff has not allowed me to kind of keep up on this.
You've been a little busy, sir.
Yeah.
So.
But like I really feel like this entire turn of the John Cena retirement tour.
Yes.
Actually, the entire thing. Or as soon as The Rock stepped in, we had the first little and then The Rock never showing up again.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden John being like, "Hey, guess what? I've seen the light." This entire run has had a very strong whiff of late era WCW to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just okay, we're going to pivot here for no good reason, and you're just supposed to go with it. I don't understand where we're heading with this, and the fact that it's just kind of throwing guys out there. And what was this segment supposed to accomplish? Like, ooh, Brock is intimidating. We all know that Brock is intimidating. Like the last 20-some years, even if you barely are aware of WWE, Brock Lesnar is a badass. For all of all of the peripherally things and all this, I'm just talking about like his in-ring performance and persona.
Yeah.
And then, furthermore, if you see Brock Lesnar, he's a badass. Like, you just look at this guy, and even at how old is he at this point? Like, he is not a spring chicken anymore.
Brock has to be close to 50.
And he can still move as quick as pretty much anybody except like
48.
Braun Breaker at this point.
48.
This dude is like inhuman.
Yeah.
Is in terms of athleticism. What was the point of this? Like, he didn't even seem like he was all that into this. And I get like they had an interaction back years and years and years ago, and I'm going to put a link to it because it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in WWE ring. And there was always this idea of Brock and Truth working together, and it never happened. And I get, well, now we're trying to make the good on that. But like, this just fell deader than a fart in church. It was just like, and I just speed watched it right before the show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's nothing here that is grabbing me, that's keeping me from skipping ahead. Like, it's just very dead. There's not really great chemistry here. And the idea that now Ron Killings is back to R-Truth and kind of this shtick is like, well, what the hell was the whole point of that? You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like there's like the wheels are coming off a little bit here in terms of consistency. And I know there's probably a lot of people out there who are like starting to come off. Granted, I'm not going to dig around every detail, but it did nothing for me. And then the fact that you have Brock doing his whole thing, like forgetting he's the heel, like what the hell is the point here?
Yeah.
And it is one of those dangers of bringing a guy back like this, because what does Brock really have? What are you going to hold over him? Like, you're going to send him home? Like, no, he's in a main event angle. what are you going to do? How are you going to discipline him? You know that he can leave anytime. Like he's got the first dollar he ever made. Like he doesn't spend money on nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you going to threaten him with? Nothing.
Right.
I don't even understand the idea of bringing him back. Honestly, it's a big pop and it's a draw, but at the same time, is it worth a headache?
Can I
don't
also
think so.
share one other factoid, which will cook your noodle on this one?
Sure.
So not this past Friday, but the one prior was billed as John Cena's last SmackDown.
Mm.
So why, Brock, would you show up this Friday looking for John when he's no longer going to be on SmackDown? Once again, logic.
I'm sure that, you know what? Actually, I wouldn't. I was going to say Uncle Corny probably had an aneurysm over that, but I'm sure he's just whatever.
Yeah. Which, by the way, where you haven't been watching, they did a very nice, and I'm talking about 2 Fridays ago, very nice kind of full circle moment where now that Sammy is the United States champion, he asked John Cena permission if he can do his own Sami Zayn United States Championship Open like John had done when he was U.S. champ, and wanted to be the last person that John wrestled. You should go back and watch that match, because during that match, Cena does basically a homage to 3 or 4 former SmackDown wrestlers by doing their finishing maneuvers. He does CM Punk's GTS. He does Edge's version of the spear. He sets up Sammy for an RKO but doesn't hit it, and did an angle slam for Kurt Angle. And it was just kind of a neat, like the whole match was really well done, and it was a neat homage. But then there was, of course, Lesnar coming down to ruin the match, so to speak. And so, which, now that I said that, okay, so Lesnar was there when he heard Cena say that it was his last SmackDown. So I don't know why he showed up this past Friday thinking he was going to find him. So
yeah, I don't know.
I think Brock needs the wise man to, guide him a little bit there.
Yeah, either needs R-Truth's in-ear monitor that he forgot that he had on his belt, and then had to like take off awkwardly in the middle of his interaction.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of a flat thing there. A
little bit.
And yeah, hey, it's funny that Brock, busted the ass out of his pants, but if that's what you're going to hang your hat on, like, not great. Not great. Yeah, indeed. What up with that? Indeed.
By the way, I'm on shop.www.com, and they are
they selling ripped pants?
They are not selling ripped pants, but they are doing a bidding. What do you call it? A bidding war here for
an auction.
An auction. Thank you, for autographed championship belts. One of them is the Booker T autographed World Heavyweight Big Gold replica title belt with an inscription. It is currently at $360, which is a steal when you consider that the actual replica of the World Heavyweight Championship is $524. So
there's got to be some sort of reserve there. There's no way they're going to let that go.
I don't know. We will see.
You're going to bid for it, aren't you?
I am not. I already have my big gold belt right over here, and I am very happy with it.
I only wanted if Booker signs it 5 times. 5 times.
I was looking to see if there was a 5-time on there, because they have the picture. Oh no, he wrote "All Hail King Booker" on it.
Okay, I'd be good with that.
Well, on one side it says "All Hail King Booker," and on the other side it's signed Booker T. So,
all right,
very cool. Very cool. All right, that is what's up with that with Brock Lesnar and Ron killing Cena. Our next one is actually a news item. I texted Uncle Todd at 4 a.m. this morning. Just having a little bit of insomnia, and decided to read up on any late breaking news that was going on in WWE.
It's 4 a.m. Do you know where Andrade is?
It's 4 a.m. and you're watching Perspectives.
Apparently not in WWE anymore.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So apparently Andrade was released yesterday from WWE quietly. It was a bit of a surprise because he was in the middle of a run. He was paired with Rey Fenix. They were a tag team. They had just recently participated in the 6-team TLC match at SummerSlam. And actually,
he was just on the PLE in Paris, wasn't he?
Okay, they were supposed to.
Oh,
but they ended up having to ditch the match because he had been no-showing, and so Andrade apparently had been no-showing,
Oh,
which is
well,
one
that
of the
would make
reasons
sense.
that led to his dismissal. The other thing that and so this is all from Cage Side Seats. This is a wrestling
Because
website.
that wasn't in the article you sent me.
It might not have been. This might have been later. Yeah. So yeah, I think this might have been later today. This came out.
All right.
Because two pieces. So that might be one piece of information. The other one was, let's see. The release was not a mutual decision. And it looks like he had at least one wellness policy violation during his most recent run.
Ooh.
It's unclear what that violation was for. He was apparently suspended without pay for the violation, which is why he hadn't been seen of late. Let's see. What's more, it was reported Andrade was removed from the building at a taping last month in direct response to the aforementioned violation. And the timing couldn't be worse because considering he was in line for a push alongside Ray Phoenix and was heavily involved in creative plans. So it looks like they, let's see, another report from Body Slam notes that WWE was trying to get in touch with Andrade for several weeks, but were never able to do so. So it's just kind of a strange story overall, where he was very involved in their plans, and then it seems like there was some activity that led to his release. So
this sounds an awful lot like he's heading down the Jeff Hardy route. This doesn't sound like this is a performance enhancing situation, steroids or anything like that. Like, this sounds like if you had to remove someone because of your violation, like, that's not like, dude, you got caught with a supplement. You know, that's like you showed up in bad shape.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're not even picking up the phone.
Yeah. Not good. And it's very strange because he was heavily featured when WWE bought AAA, which is the Mexican wrestling organization that they're now running events with. The thought was he was going to be, starting to get more involved there. He and Ray Phoenix, like I mentioned, were making a run, as a tag team and a very, they're a very interesting team as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching them work together. I thought they were, I mean, just alone that TLC move where you had, what was it? Wasn't it Phoenix jumping on Andrade's shoulders?
On Andrade's shoulders and almost getting the belts just by doing that, which would have been really funny to have them win without using the ladder. So.
That was unreal. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. So I mean, I kind of dig Andrade's like as a character just because he's not a little guy, but he's doing a lot of those lucha moves, and it's weird seeing someone of that stature do that. Yep. But oof, hopefully this is
Andrade's a bigger guy. He's built like a bigger wrestler, but like you said, moves like a luchador, and has very good matches. I mean, I've always really enjoyed watching him wrestle because he just, there's a stiffness to what he does. There's a dynamic, a dynamic energy to what he does. His biggest downside in my mind, though, is just he is not a good promo. I very, like, you don't really hear him talk a lot. And I think because you don't hear him talk a lot, then it's hard to connect with him as a character. And so they've really had to do things with him where it's more who he's associated with. He was involved in the LWO, like what was that faction they were going up against?
Phasma or something.
Oh, Legado del Fantasma. He got all involved in that, which I'd read something today, like he was not happy about, like he did not want to be a part of that. And, but they plugged him in there. He had the series of matches with, Carmelo Hayes. Sorry, I was going to say Anthony. That's a basketball player. Carmelo Hayes, which was really good. I mean, they had a great sequence of matches. And so, he was a really strong performer. He also, like when he was in AEW, like, I don't know if he came back because, he was trying to salvage his marriage or not. Like he was married to Charlotte Flair. They have since divorced, so no longer, a couple there. And so it's just unclear, like what kind of led to, this sort of collapse, if you will, of this run of his. But yeah, like, and I read something, one of his best runs was when he was paired up with Zelina Vega, where she was basically his manager, because she was very good at the voice. She cuts a good promo. She has a good personality and charisma about her, from a promo perspective. And so, his best run during, like, when when he was part of WWE the first time, I think it was in NXT, like he had a really, really strong run, and his initial run on the main roster was good when he was paired with her. When they disconnected the two of them and he was on his own, he just kind of flailed because he just doesn't have a voice, and
Yeah.
you can't, it's very hard for a wrestler to, become a star and build up their star power when they're not speaking. And Lesnar honestly is a great example of that, because when he came back in 2012, his initial run was not very good until he got paired up with Paul Heyman, and then things started to take off because Heyman was his hype man and did all the talking. So,
Well, as we saw from his promo.
indeed. So we will see. We will see what happens with this, but unfortunately, yeah, Andrade is no more in WWE.
Well, hopefully, if he's got some issues that he's dealing with, he gets them straightened out, because that's just never a good thing.
Yes, we do wish him the best on his health, and that everything is okay.
Yeah.
All right, and our final topic on What's Up With That is a bit of a rant. The man they call Tim doesn't rant very often. In fact, it's mostly Uncle Todd who rants.
On air.
On air.
You've had some epic ones when we're doing our pre-production and our post-production meetings. That's when you save it.
Well,
so you can be the nice guy.
Well, got to play the baby face, to your heel, but nonetheless.
True.
But Saturday Night Live over the last several weeks has undergone some turmoil, has undergone some change, and I, for one, am not happy with this. And we are on the threshold of the 51st season of this show that I have very much enjoyed, and there was statements made back when season 50 wrapped up by Lorne Michaels that he was going to shake things up with the cast, and people weren't sure what exactly that meant. Well, he got rid of some very some big players and some big names, and so I know, Uncle Todd, you don't watch the show, so these names may not be may not mean a lot. I'll try to explain as best I can, but initially we got news that Devin Walker, Michael Longfellow, and Emil Joachim had their exits announced. They were the first three to be announced. Devin Walker was only a few years in, but was quite funny and was starting to kind of build, I felt, some momentum. Michael Longfellow was absolutely hilarious. He was always playing like very creepy, kind of dark characters, but just did it well and did it with a lot of humor. He was someone you could not help but laugh at and with. And so that one really surprised me, because he seemed like he was just on the cusp of hitting his stride in year three of his run. Emil Joachim is a little less of a surprise. He had just become, he was kind of a featured player, and it was only in his first year, so he was going into year two. So kind of look at that as, okay, maybe they just cut him because it just wasn't working out or whatnot. So not as much tenure there, but Devin Walker and Michael Longfellow were two that I was very, very shocked by. And then we got a big one. And I'm going to try to see if I can liken this to something so Uncle Todd understands, but Heidi Gardner was announced as leaving after 8 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
She was one of their top performers. Like this is like basically in a lot of ways, letting Cody Rhodes go, like she was one of the funnier members of the cast, and just was solid and was, featured in a lot of sketches. I do know, she had done some interviews and said, she's starting to feel like, her juice for writing sketches was starting to dry up a little bit. But I mean, overall, like she just, when she's in sketches, she just makes them so funny. She inhabits these, characters she plays, and just makes you laugh. And it's just very, very funny person. And really there hasn't been a lot of, I still think to this point hasn't really commented on the exit. The thing that's shocking to me is normally someone like that who's been around for 5+ seasons usually gets a little bit of a send off at the end of the season if they know they're going to leave. And clearly she did not know that she was going to leave. And so I was really surprised. And, I said to my wife, cause we watch the show very, very regularly. And, when, like when Kate McKinnon left a couple of years ago, they did a really nice send off for her on the last episode of that season. And so I kind of said to my wife, I'm like, the way that they're kind of letting talent go here, it's like, I wonder if this is going to blow up in Lauren Michaels' face a little bit, because people kind of have come to appreciate and enjoy some of these cast members, and to just like let them go with like no swan song, no thank you, no anything. It just feels very, I mean, it feels very much like what Belichick would do with the Patriots, where he just like cuts guys. It's just like,
it's very corporate.
Very corporate, very cold and corporate.
And
Absolutely.
And the thing is, like, that's the antithesis of what SNL was at its very beginning. SNL was very counterculture, very, sticking it to the man sort of thing, and like on edge.
Yep.
But I mean, that's what happens when stuff becomes an institution, because now they just had their 50th year victory lap.
Yep.
Now it's probably like, all right, I don't know, maybe Lauren is trying to prove that he's smarter than everyone else in the room.
Yeah, it's really, really surprising. And then this last week, but before I get to that one, so 2 weeks ago they announced 5 new players. So Tommy Brennan, Jeremy Culhane, Ben Marshall, Cam Patterson, and Veronica Slawikowska.
Oh, her.
Are going to be the 5 new members. I don't know really any of them. From really anything. So it'll be interesting.
There was 4 cuts and there's 5 additions, which means the Reaper ain't done.
No,
right?
There is one more. Is one more. The only one that was familiar was Ben Marshall. He was part of this 3-man troupe called Please Don't Destroy. They would do, like, I'm trying to liken it to Andy Samberg, and he had 2 friends, and they used to do, they did like Lazy Sunday and a few other like videos that they would drop kind of in the middle of the show. Please Don't Destroy was kind of like that. They did their own thing, but they were kind of like that in the middle, sort of just the 3 of them with the special guests doing some sort of goofy sketch, independent of the rest of the cast usually. One of those members is going to become a regular as well. And then Veronica, let's see. Yeah, I don't know what she's been in. Veronica Slawikowska, nothing I've seen. And then Cam Patterson is a comedian. Let's see. Yeah. So anyway, 5 new people. We'll see what happens. I'm just really surprised that they got rid of, really surprised they got rid of Michael Longfellow and Heidi Gardner. They were really 2 of their top, funny people. The one the one that was announced last week that was super surprising, and this is almost like letting CM Punk go in a way, is Ego Wodum, who she, another female star of the show, absolutely hilarious. She was starting, she's been around for 7 years, doing all sorts of different characters. Last season, she did this character called Miss Eggy, which is like kind of her personality turned up to 11 or 12, and she did this on Weekend Update. And she was doing like a back and forth with the crowd. And it was the episode where she prompted the crowd to say something, not expecting them to basically utter a swear word on live TV. And that's what they did. And she just went with, like, everyone just thought it was hysterical. Like Michael Che and Colin Jost were just cracking up behind her. Like, oh my God, we're going to get in so much trouble. So it was just a really funny moment. So if you want to go back and check that out, she was just hysterical. And very much like Heidi Gardner was just one of the foundational members of the comedy part of that show. They were just so funny in everything they did. I would consider them like one of the all-stars, so it's kind of like it's like you're cutting your stars in spite of what you're trying to do with the show. And it was very and again, she's another one that I would have expected some sort of send-off for, because without her and Gardner, the show would have been a very different show, and it would not have been as funny, because they just brought something very special to the characters and sketches that they did. And so I'm just, in this article, I don't know if we'll put this in the show notes or not. There's a few articles I have.
You got like 5 of them here, sir.
From Hollywood Reporter. Well,
okay.
2 of the links are the exact same. Let me see. The link that I have linked in the title bullet is the same as the Hollywood Reporter, the second one, the second sub bullet.
Okay.
So yes. But Where was I going with this?
I have no idea.
I don't know. You
were
interrupted
angry,
me.
though.
Well, I was trying to get to it, and you interrupted me and threw my flow off.
How'd I interrupt you?
It's like, yeah, you have two of the same.
Well, no, I was just commenting that you're like, oh, we have a
Oh, you got 5 links or something, is what you said.
something. I was marveling at the amount of research you did for this.
Okay, well, as a fan, I'm upset because I've come to expect a certain quality of comedy from this show, and I know Kenan Thompson survived somehow. He's been there for like 20 plus years.
I was expecting you to say that they cut him,
and they did not. He will be there for season 51. So he lives to fight another season. Apparently,
he's the Wayne Fonts of cast members. Rasputin, just when you think he's out, he manages to come back.
That's right. Ooh. Yeah, absolutely. So, but no, I'm. Here's what I'm upset by is the lack of respect for the long timers. I really, in I don't mean to repeat myself again, but I really feel like you should do right by your stars who bring the franchise along for a period of time, and you should give them their due and not just show them the door in the middle of summer when the show's not going on. It just feels very, like you said, corporate, very cold. And yeah, I get it. That's show business. I don't know. It just feels strange to me the way it was done. I'm also disappointed because, it's something I look forward to. Like, my wife and I watching that show Saturday nights, it's fun for me. It's like, it's part of our like Saturday night routine. I enjoy watching it. Now, maybe these new 5 will be great. It'll take some getting used to, got to warm up or whatever, but I'm still going to miss, 3 of those people because they were, Devin Walker was good too. I mean, Emil Joachim, like I said, hadn't been around long enough to really, have something there. So I'm kind of like, all right, whatever. But the other ones, were all really funny, really good. And it's just a shame that they kind of got let go the way that they were. And I just, part of me wonders if this blows back on Lorne Michaels in some way, because if they go with these changes and the show actually gets worse and is not as funny, there's going to be some questions about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then again, I mean, this has been the story of SNL. Like, there's always down times, and there's people like, oh, is SNL? They've written. There's been so many obituaries written about SNL at this point that it's you could fill 3 filing cabinets with them. It's crazy. So I don't know how much pressure Lorne is going to be under, because also he's 80 at this point. Like.
Well, but that's my other point is, are we seeing kind of
is he turning into Jerry Jones?
No, is he turning into Vince McMahon in some ways? Like Vince.
Okay.
Now, yeah. I understand Vince, there was a scandal that got Vince out, but I'm just like, is this going to be one move too many that kind of gets people to say, Lorne, maybe you're at a point where you need to step back and let someone else do this? Because it feels like he's really overplayed his hand here.
So wait a minute. So what? NBC is host Saturday Night Live?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the president of? Oh, actually, okay. So the president of NBC is Rebecca Blumenstein.
Oh, gee. Oh, okay.
And she's 59 years old. Okay, because I was going to say, like, there is a chance that this could happen, because my first thing was, like, as long as TV executives or the people above Lorne on the food chain are of the same vintage as him or close to it,
I see.
He ain't going nowhere, because be like, oh, well, Lorne will dig it out. But if she's just like, I think I closed the window. I shouldn't have done that, or the tab. And I think she's only been there a couple of years. Yeah, at this point, she might just be like, all right, yep, and you're done.
Yes.
You know, that could be a thing. I kind of doubt it, just because SNL is at this point such an institution. I think it would take a lot for it to, number one, be canceled, but I think it would be a lot to get Lorne out in a way where he doesn't agree to it. You know what I mean?
I'm not concerned about it being canceled. I'm just concerned, or I'm not even concerned. I'm just wondering if these moves don't work out, is it the beginning of the end for him leading the show, and they look to bring someone else in to creatively guide the show because of that Vince McMahon sort of effect, that he's just so out of touch at this point like I don't know how much. I mean, I watched some of the behind the scenes shows over the course of season 50 that they put out there to kind of honor the show and give folks a sense of what happens with it. And he does have say, and he does still kind of guide things to an extent, but you have to probably figure that he's also not really as in touch with things as he used to be, and I wonder if that comes with judging talent too, like
Yeah. Oh, how could it not? I mean, think about this. So Lorne Michaels is 80.
Yeah.
SNL is 50 going on 51. That
Yeah.
means when he was starting this show, he was 29, 30.
Mm-hmm.
And the cast members were not that much younger than him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was definitely of that era and knew what was kind of going on.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, granted, you hang out with enough of those people that buys you some time going forward.
Yep.
But at a certain point, like, yeah, you just don't. You're like, I don't know what's going on with the kids these days. I mean, that's
Shake harder, boy.
that's us. But it's like,
basically,
yeah. I mean, I could see that. Yeah, no, I because before I was firmly ensconced in the idea of like, you don't know what you're talking about. Now I'm like, yeah, I could see that happening.
And the other point is, I'm hard pressed to think of another period other than maybe sometime in the early 80s when they were trying to figure out that next cast. And again, part of the documentaries they did was around, they called it The Lost Season, which was about, it was a season where they brought in like Robert Downey Jr. and Anthony Michael Hall. And it was this weird mishmash of people.
Yeah.
Didn't go very well. And they kept a couple of them around. Like I think Billy Crystal was part of it. Not
Joe
Phil
Piscopo was in there, wasn't he?
Joe, I think he might have been. I don't remember.
But the funny thing is, like some of the cats who were in that got booted ended up going on to bigger and better things. Then I'd say it turned out all right for Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and I think Heidi Gardner and Ego Wodum are going to find plenty of, like, we're going to see them in shows or movies. I mean, they are going to find their way. Like, I'm not concerned about that. I just more, I'm hard pressed to think of another time when they made this radical of a shift in the cast. Normally it's like you see the writing on the wall. Will Ferrell leaves, people saw that coming because he had, become a star and was doing a lot of film and stuff. And it was just, he had been on the show for a really long time. And it was just kind of that point, you can just see it coming. These just felt very out of place. And I just wish that, they rotated out like, one thing about, like, for example, with Devin Walker, which I didn't realize, and this is at least based on data, is that he was, one, like the amount of screen time, he was one of the players that had the least amount of screen time last season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense to me then. And in fact, in some of the interviews I read when he talked about his time there, he just mentioned during this last season, he wasn't really sure kind of where his place was. And he just sounded like someone who was kind of lost, and so I think that one made sense. I think, like I said, the Emil Joaquin one makes sense. It's just some of the ones that were more involved and just brought a lot of the comedy juice was just, I don't know. It was just very strange to me. And so I'm just kind of curious how it's going to play out this season and if there's going to be some backlash, from it, because, the people that do watch it, I mean, we are watching it to be entertained and to laugh, not, and I just don't see how making a radical shift like this is going to benefit the show and if it's going to hurt it potentially in some ways. So
Could be.
So not much of a Lewis Black sort of rant where, the veins bulging from my forehead, but, not happy. And I'm a little suspect going into October the 4th, I believe, which is when the next season will debut.
Wow, that's not a lot of time to bring in a whole bunch of new people. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, fare thee well to 4 out of the 5. And as the man they call Tim said, screw you in particular, Emil. So what do you got for another thing?
Lauren Michaels, not Emil.
It's too late. You already agreed. What do you got for another thing? A recommendation for our listeners / viewers.
I'm actually going to, I'll go with this one. I was going to shift this to the Friday Week in Geek, the Friday Free Range Idiocy episode. But believe it or not, I had never seen Interstellar until this past Friday evening when I sat down with my wife and watched it. And
you romantic, you.
Well, we're having a little Friday evening, movie, movie night. And
The way that you said that, it makes me wonder if you actually did watch it,
we
or
did.
if you're just claiming that you watched it.
No, we did. We
It's
watched it.
Little Paramount Plus and chill going on.
Good Lord Almighty. Anywho, we watched Interstellar.
Let me do my praying mantis dance move for you.
Oh, good God. do the Lesnar booty jiggle.
Well, if you tear the ass out of your jeans, you go right ahead.
Well, there you go. Get on with your bad self.
Mm-hmm. Somebody call my mama. Anyways.
So Interstellar, which is on Paramount Plus. So we watched that, and no, I very much enjoyed. I understand why the movie, was as popular as it was 11 years ago. It's been a while.
Got your fingers right in the pulse of the nation.
I do. But no, it was a wonderful movie by Christopher Nolan, and very, very well shot. Cinematography was amazing. The story was very well done, and just appreciated just the whole package of what that movie brought, and just thought I would recommend it to others who are like me, who may not have seen it, or maybe there are those who have seen it but have not seen it in quite some time. I would highly recommend checking it out because it is top notch.
Great flick. And here's a little bit of trivia for you.
Yes.
They actually grew a field full of corn in order to do all those shots practically. So they actually planted that field and then harvested it.
Wow.
And sold it and made money to go back into that basically like made money back for the movie. Like it wasn't, millions or anything, but they made some cash back on the corn, which I always thought was great. Like the one Hollywood movie where they're like, we took a set and we actually made money on it.
Yeah. Yep.
That was great.
The one thing I will say about the movie though, I was a little, and I'm kind of curious how it was when you watched it for the first time. I was a little confused by the ending. Not realizing that, the movie's out there, so I'm not spoiling anything, but
yeah, I think we're past the spoilers point.
The very end where he wakes up in the space station.
Yes.
And like I had forgotten about the time dilation aspect of things, and that the station would have been built in the time that he was in the black hole. Threw me off a little bit because I'm like, how did they build something that took advantage of the data that he sent to his daughter in time for him to come out, but forgetting that he was probably in there for 50 plus years or something like that? Or
yes.
Yeah. So
at least, yeah.
Yeah. So that threw me a little bit. And then I was also trying to equate that with him going to see Brand at the end, because I would have thought Brand would have also aged in the time he was in there, because she had been slungshot off the black hole at that point.
Yeah, but I think it's close enough to when because it's all about going around the black hole, like being close to it, and he went into the black hole. So I'd imagine at that point, like time kind of stopped. It would have been close enough where it wouldn't have been like a gigantic,
big difference for them. Yeah. But no, I mean, I thought that, the movie had a great heart to it. I had seen memes that use that whole scene when he's watching, his son grow and have his own kids and stuff. And he's like, like I've seen memes where it's like, he's like smiling and then he's crying. And it's just, kind of like, I think usually it has to do with someone's sports team losing or something like that. Yeah. So
it's like the ugly cry plus a snot bubble and everything else going on there. Like he threw everything but the kitchen sink in that one.
Yes, and kudos, by the way, to Matt Damon, who plays the most devilish of heels in this movie. I mean, God.
Someone actually did the calculation on how much the world has spent on rescuing Matt Damon between Saving Private Ryan, Interstellar, and The Martian. It's in the trillions. Like we got it. He needs to be under house arrest.
Yeah, basically.
Like we can't let anyone
lock him down.
Yeah. Between that and the fiasco that was the Great Wall, I mean, he's cost the world trillions of dollars and much more in psychological damage.
Yes.
Which I do love the fact that apparently Matt Damon's kid, had said something and he's like, "Oh, you're talking about one of his movies, like, oh, you mean the Great Wall?" And they're like, "Was it really great?" And he's like, "Oh, jeez."
Smack, smack.
That movie put you through college.
Well, fair enough. But yeah, highly recommend Interstellar. Do check it out on the Paramount Plus.
My recommendation is going to be
What the heck is this? I'm reading this on the show notes here. I'm like, what are you about to give a sermon here, sir?
Well, I wanted to have a little bit to talk about, and I'm not going to read all of this, but so Mike Montero's weekly email newsletter. Mike Montero is a designer, and I kind of first came to know him from another link that I'll share. His manifesto to creatives called that is a takeoff on Goodfellas. F you, pay me. And this is if you are a creative person who has been a freelancer or owns your own kind of business, you know how this works, that it can sometimes be like pulling teeth in order to get people to pay you. And he goes into the aspects of that. But he's an interesting cat. Mule Design, I believe, is his company. And I kind of got turned on to his email newsletter through another email newsletter that I subscribe to. And it's interesting because he kind of answers questions that people send into him, and he just he does it in a way that it's for him, it's practicing writing and interacting and all this stuff. And so someone had sent in, I want to start a newsletter for my writing. What advice can you give me? And he this was out of a longer bit, and basically it's like you have to find something that's inspiring to you. He says, I write a newsletter because I love to write. Writing is like wrestling to me. You get in the ring and you fight, and even if the finale is scripted, published newsletter in parentheses, the moves it takes to get there is an effing ride. You get tossed around against the ropes, you get suplexed, there's always outside interference. Look what I found on the internet. Well, about 15 minutes in, you're regretting everything you've ever written, then out of nowhere you come up with a great phrase, you write it down, but it doesn't fit anywhere yet because you have to get your opponent into the middle of the ring first. So you write that 3 sentences to get there, and then bam, now the phrase works. Body slam. Your feelings about writing may be different. Your metaphor is most likely different. What's important is that you love to write. And
God bless him for relating that to the professional wrestling.
He's a very interesting dude, and I appreciate the fact that he is not afraid to kind of talk about his own personal life, and also, get very opinionated, but also be kind of gracious enough to the world around him in certain ways. So it's an interesting mixture. So yeah, definitely check out his newsletter. I'm going to link to, I think I'm linking to basically like the homepage where you can subscribe, or it might have been just the most recent one I just read part of to you, but definitely check it out and see if try it out for a couple weeks and see if it's something that's interesting, and maybe you want to keep going with it.
Very nice.
But that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for us here on the Week in Geek Wednesday. Thank you all for tuning in. We do so appreciate it. You can find us at freerangeedc.com for all of our audio episodes. You can also find us on the podcast purveyor of your choice, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, Amazon, Podbean, all of those, plus many, many, many more. Search for Free Range Idiocy. You'll find us. Full video episodes on the YouTubes. You can find our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@freerangeidiocy. Spotify completely changed their setup, so I have no idea how to actually get access to upload video to Spotify now. So sorry, I'm not that smart. So we're off of doing video for Spotify until I can actually figure out what the hell is going on. But you can find them at our YouTube channel. So subscribe over there. Punch that notification bell, ring your towel out, hit the bell, whatever the frig you're supposed to do. I don't know. I'm old. I don't know these things. You have any? If you want to find us on the social medias, we are on the Instagram, Facebook, also the YouTube, as previously mentioned. All of those are at Free Range Idiocy. Send any questions, comments, concerns, or topics you'd like us to talk about to Tim at freerangeidiocy.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I hand it back to the man they call Tim to take us home. What do you got to say for yourself?
I say to Ron Cena, to Brock Lesnar, to Andrade, to Lauren Michaels, to Saturday Night Live, you suspect. And after what you tried to pull today, you can bet we'll be looking into you. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. And until that day comes, keep your ear to the grindstone.
You're wrong. Now get the hell out of here!